Shall we head to the state of Georgia now?
Yes.
And we are just a little over a week away from that Senate runoff, that rematch between Herschel Walker and incumbent Raphael Warnock.
It's still going on, and this is a big one now. Even though it's the same race, a lot has changed since November 8th. So joining us with more is Tia Mitchell, Washington correspondent with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Okay, Tia, so this is the never-ending race, just like it was the last time 2 years ago in Georgia. But this is crucial, isn't it? Tell us what's changed in this race since Election Day last month. How does it feel to you?
Well, what's changed a little bit for Herschel Walker is that now Brian Kemp, who was elected after the general election, he is now campaigning with Herschel Walker. He's putting his political capital behind supporting Herschel Walker's campaign, and that's considered something that could boost Herschel Walker in this runoff. For Warnock, I think what's changed is his message has sharpened. He's made his runoff campaign about competence and character. He says he has it, Herschel Walker doesn't.
Is one strategy working better than another at this point?
Well, you know, that's something we probably won't know for sure until after Election Day. But I do think Warnock seems to be building a broader coalition. The early voting numbers look like they would, be beneficial to Warnock. For Walker, he, and particularly these surrogates like Governor Kemp, like some of those senators who have come down to support him, their message has been more about not so much focusing on Herschel Walker, because I think even Republicans know he's a pretty flawed candidate, but focusing on their bigger mission of putting more Republicans in the Senate in order to make it a little bit harder for President Joe Biden to carry out his agenda. So that's been the message, and that's been able to encourage some Republican voters. The question is those moderate voters, those split ticket voters that seem to be leaning towards Warnock. We don't know if that message coming from Walker's campaign is enough to sway them back towards Walker.
And Tia, so far, I guess more than 180,000 Georgians have voted early, including the incumbent Senator Raphael Warnock. He voted on Saturday. We saw him there. So given that, what does that tell you about the intensity on this race? The last time, 2 years ago, when Warnock won, it was going to decide power in the Senate, Georgia itself. Well, now everyone knows the Democrats will control the Senate, at least at the start. Does that lessen intensity for either side, or does this feel just as intense a race, turnout being so high?
Yeah, it feels just as intense. It really does feel just as intense. Turnout is high. It even is starting to break records in some ways on certain dates, especially knowing that this weekend turnout was so high, even though statewide, not every county had early voting this past weekend. There's a lot of interest, intensity. The other thing is, voters can't avoid this election. It's on their TVs with advertising. They're getting mailers. They're getting text messages and emails from the candidates soliciting for donations. So it's really hard to not be aware of the runoff. But we are seeing a lot of energy around this race, even though the balance of power at the Senate is not at stake. The level of power that Democrats would have in the Senate is at stake. It's a question of 50-50 committees versus Democrats having a clear majority.
You know, while we have you, Tia, and we're just talking about just the influence here in these tight races and this runoff and what's at stake for both parties, you've got Donald Trump having this dinner with a very well-known, infamous, we should say, white supremacist, along with Kanye West, anti-Semite. Do you think what we saw happen over the weekend, will impact this race, this party, what we're watching right now?
Yeah, I don't know if it would have much impact unless Trump started becoming more vocal or tried to come campaign in Georgia, because Trump and Herschel Walker's ties are long-standing. That's kind of been baked into Herschel Walker's campaign from the beginning. So the fact that he has a close relationship with President Trump isn't really new to any voters, whether they support him or not. But Trump has stayed away. Yes, he has endorsed Herschel Walker. When he announced he was running for president again, he said, oh, yeah, don't forget to vote for Herschel Walker. But he has not stepped foot in Georgia throughout this race. And we don't expect that to happen in the runoff. So in both for Walker supporters, his surrogates, and Herschel Walker himself, they are not focusing on Trump. And so far, Democrats, yes, they say that's another reason why they think Herschel Walker is not the right person to serve in the Senate. That's part of, again, character and competence that's coming from the Democrats when it comes to Herschel Walker.
It's so interesting that Trump hasn't gone, doesn't seem to be invited. I wonder if after those midterms, which were bad for him, he's bad luck or more for some candidates. But we'll see on Election Day. Tia Mitchell, thanks very much for being with us.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.